记在那个云上就好了。
看到他在录制了，应该没问题了。
Okay, sorry for the delay. So today we'll just quickly introduce the history and product of Delta AC servo drive. Okay, so you can find this page is all the Delta servo drive. So you can see from 2004 we launched the first series, ASDA A series. And 2 years later, we have ASDA B series. And after that, we have a AB series and A series. Then we'll come to A2 and B2. So I think many people may misunderstood that A2 is newer than B2, but it's actually not correct because B2 is launched in 2010, but A2 released in 2009. But you may wonder then why the B2 performance is lower than A2. The reason is very simple because A2 is an advanced one. But you know, in the Asian market, most people they just need a pure drive because in the past everything they will focus on the master controller like a PLC or like a motion card. Then after that, Delta released a 3-in-1 servo drive, ASDA M. This drive, one drive can drive 3 servo motor. And in 2014, we have ASDA MS, and this one is dedicated for the robot application. So, for example, if you have customer, they want to build their own partition robot, Scala robot, or spider robot, then this may be a good choice to use a MS controller. Then in 2017, Delta had A3. Then last year, we released B3 series. So here just give you a concept that for the A series, B series, and B2 series, these 3 types, they are pure servo drive. Means we don't have the built-in positioning or built-in control function. So actually, since AB series, we had the PR function inside, but at that time, the PR function is quite limited. But until A2, we fulfill. I'm sorry, in A2 series, the PR function already can fulfill most of simple motion control. Then another information for you is for the A series, B series, AB, and the A plus. This 4 model already phased out, means end of product life. And what we already mentioned for the MS, this one is dedicated for the robot application. Okay, and maybe some people already see this chart before. It's a bit, maybe the first time you see this will be a bit complicated. So I just explain how I separate this one. So for the Delta AC servo drive, basically I separate into 5 portions. The first one is for the standard drive, means we can use a pulse chain or analog voltage or control. So here you can see like a dash for the A2 or A3 dash L type. This one means we can use a pulse or analog voltage. And here we'll show you the spec of each the feature of each servo drive. So for the A3, it have a 24-bit, and this is the bandwidth, it's a 3.1K. And the main advantage of A3 series, this drive we build in a PLC function and can support up to 99 PR pairs. If we include homing mode, that means we can provide 100 PR pairs. And this drive can support also third-party servo motor. So later we will explain more about this part. And for the A2, maybe most people know we have an A2 series, standard A2. But actually, between A2 and A3, we have another model called A2R. Okay, so you can find this one. This drive is for A3, and this one A2. And this one is A2R. So I think it should be very easy to find out the main difference between A2 and A2R. The main difference is for here, the CM5. You can see for A2 is black color, and for A2R is blue color. So this one is actually 9 pin, and this one is 15 pin. So this one we can connect to the linear motor and third-party motor. So this one is the first drive that can support third-party motor. So because we Delta built-in A2 create the A2R, that because from the feedback, customer feedback, that they might need Delta servo to control third-party like linear motor or the first chain motor. Okay, and here you can see the feature of A2 is a 20-bit. The bandwidth is 1K, and the difference is here already mentioned. A2R can support third-party motor. Then we come to the B2 series. In B2 series, plus type, we use the model name we end with P. But from A3, in order to consist with the most series, A2 and A3, so we change to L. But for B2 is still remain B. And you can see the spec is, if compared to A2 and A3, is quite poor. So just 17-bit, and the bandwidth also quite low, just 500 Hertz. Okay, then come to B3 series. Okay, so B3 we have B3A, means advanced, standard B3, and B3B means basic. So here you can find it's actually same spec like A3, 24-bit, the 3.1 kHz, and 99 PR. And if customer need the STO, then they can purchase B3A. And this one is the photo for B2 and B3. Then the final one is for ASDA M. This is the 3-in-1 drive. So you can see like this one like is actually compared to the single A6 is quite huge. Okay, so this one share the same feature of A2. So you can see this one is 20-bit and 1 kHz bandwidth. For this one, the power rating, we just have two models. It's a 750 and 1.5 kilowatt. And this one built in 3A6. So all this portion is for the standard drive. Then we will separate into the field bus, the CAN-open, DMC net, and EtherCAT. So I think this one we already mentioned earlier. We have a A3, A2, B3, and 3-in-1. So all this one you can connect to Delta, like a DVP CAN-open module, or DVP like a motion controller 10MC, 15MC. But here, one thing I want to remind you is for the M-N. if you want to use like a DVP can open module to control this one, do some motion control, then we might suffer a PDO limitation because the total PDO amount is the same. I mean, the quantity is just exactly same as A2 and A3. So that means it would be difficult to control 3 ASICs by the same quantity PDO. Okay, then we come to DMC part. For DMC, also same model, A3, A2, B2, M, and MS. So you'll find here we have a lot branch, small branch here. Okay, so the main difference I want to remind here for the M series, we have a M-R. This one is the first type that Delta Servo drive can support the built-in PLC function. And actually, what we already mentioned in S3 series actually also come from M-R. And the difference between servo drive and the robot controller is you can find, or we use also different type of programming. So for the robot controller MS, here we use a robot. And this one are built-in for ASICs. Okay, and EtherCAT, now we just have three types, A2E, A3E, and B3. And one thing I want to remind was that Delta's EtherCAT controller or drive is all based on COE, means can open over EtherCAT. So if customer they use a Circus over EtherCAT controller or Ethernet over EtherCAT controller, then we can do nothing. We just say sorry, our drive cannot fit to your not compatible with your controller. Okay, then the final one is for the spindle, and basically this one has only okay, so this one can use a pulse chain control, analog, and also DMC. But this one for the application will be quite different because for the, most of the drive we mentioned, this one the rated speed of this motor is for 3000 RPM. I mean the max rated speed for spindle is actually for the higher speed application. But this portion, I think will have some function overlap with the VFD. So just depend up to customer inquiry. So if the customer they prefer DMC net and spindle control, they can use a Delta Servo. Otherwise, maybe you can suggest them just use a pure inverter to control. Just as just like yesterday, Kelvin mentioned for the high speed control, you maybe consider VE MS300, MH300.
Hello, Apple.
Yes.
Can you briefly answer the question online?
Oh.
I think there are 3 questions.
A2R can use for third-party motor. Can A2R use to control ASDA A? Yes. Hello all. Can you see my screen? The first question is they ask about use A2R to control Delta first generation motor. The answer is yes, can. I need EtherCAT servo. What's the difference of A3 and B3? We will mention later on. Okay, and this page shows Delta AC servo motor. So basically, for all Delta AC servo motor, you will start from ECM. But the model name would be slightly different. But anyway, the naming rule and the category will be like this. basically will separate by voltage and rated speed. So you can see what separate into 200 volt, 400 volt, and then we'll come to the speed. So for example, if customer they need 3000 RPM, so if 200 volt will be start from C, and 400 volt will be J. Okay, then come to encoder type. Encoder we will have incremental, absolute, and magnetic. And this one we already mentioned in last page. For A2 is 20 bit and B2 is 17 bit. Then for the H3 we will have 24 absolute and incremental. And maybe some of our Delta partner already see the drive. It will end with slightly different because normally we was like end with I mean the model name we end with L, M, or F. But some customer they might request like the drive with LN, FN, and EN. That one means they will connect to the Nikon encoder motor. But this one is still a Delta motor. Just we changed the motor encoder from Delta to Nikon protocol. So we must change the drive. Okay. Then the new is for magnetic. So in A2R, we already have the magnetic encoder, but the resolution is really low. It's just 13 bit. So in the B3, we increase to 17 bit. And for the inertia portion, in B3, we have a low inertia and medium inertia. And for H3, we have a low inertia and high inertia, which can make our product more completely. Then this part is for the gearbox. Gearbox, Delta just provide two models. We have a PS and a PA, so just depend up to customer inquiry. If they need a small backlash, then PS would be recommended. But if they need they don't care about the backlash that much, then can consider PA series. Regarding linear product, Delta actually now just have quite limited portfolio. So like the module type, we have a LU. This one we just provide for three type, 100 watt, then 400 watt, and with different pitch. And this one is based on LU product is based on the Bosch group, and LA-S. This one is based on the shape linear motor. Okay, but we make it modularized, so it would be easier for customer to install. And this one is for the LPL. LPL is so you can see the resolution is 1 micrometer, but the stroke is very short, just 2 centimeters. So that means it's for the high-speed application. Normally, we use this one in electronics application, especially like a Z-axis, a vertical axis application. Then spindle, the model name is ECMS. If you remember, for the general motor, it will start with ECMA. And this one is ECMS. And for the motor, it's incremental 17 bit, and the rated speed is 6,000 RPM, which we already mentioned previously. Okay, and this page just shows you the drive spec. So currently, for H3 and B3, sorry, we just have a 200 volt, but before end of this year, we will have a 400 volt series. And maybe in the Q3, here we will improve up to 7.5 kilowatt in A3 series. Okay, so for the A2 and A2R now, next month is 15 kilowatt. And you can see here is for the resolution and the built-in I/O. Then for M series 3-in-1 servo drive, we have a 750 and 1.5 kilowatt. And as you can see from here, for all Delta servo drive, within if the rating is within 1.5 kilowatt, then we can use a single or three-phase. But the model name is within 1.5 kilowatt, you always be bandwidth 1. Okay. Then the only exception is for MS series. This one, but this one we have a 3 type of 400 watt, 4A6, 750, 750 watt, 4A6 or 1 kilowatt. But for the 1 kilowatt type, this one can support 750 2A6 and 1 kilowatt 2A6. But this model that must use a 3-phase. Okay, and this page just remind you the resolution difference between Delta and most popular brand on the market. So for example, like A2R M series, Delta's resolution is 20 bit, but like Panasonic, Yaskawa, Mitsubishi, Omron, almost brand, they will use the resolution like this. But Delta will use 128 or 0. Okay, so this is the main difference. And for B2 is 17 bit, like Mitsubishi JE series or even J3 series. J3 series, they might use this one, but Delta use 160 K, 100K. Then, but from H3 and B3 series, we follow the Delta follow the standard rule. So you can see this one will be exactly same as other brand. Okay. And the table below just show you how to set the electronic gear ratio in H3 and B3 series. If in the past customer they already set, for example, like this one, they are in the electronic gear ratio parameter in P1-44 and 45. In A2 or A2R series, they set 128/1. So that means we give a 10K PUU pulse command, then a motor will rotate 1 turn. But if we change to H3 or B3 series, then for P, we should set this value, the resolution value in P1-44 and 45 just depends on the command you want to use to make a motor rotate 1 turn. So I'm not sure any question about it, this introduction so far. Okay, if not, then we continue. Okay, and this one is just answer the question we some partner asked earlier. So here you will see we have a Delta encoder, Nikon encoder. Okay, so in the A2 series, if you see like C1, C2, CA, then this one means we use a Delta encoder. And CW, which I just mentioned, this one is for Nikon encoder. So you will see for the drive, it will, the model name would be slightly different. Here you will see like a A2LN, A2MN. Okay. Then in H3 series, we also separate into Nikon encoder and Delta encoder. Okay, so it was like a CY, C1. This one means a Nikon encoder. And if CA, C2 is a Delta encoder. Then come to the V3 part. V3 is all use a Delta encoder. No matter it's a optical or magnetic, this one is all use a Delta encoder. So then we compare with the drive. So you can see the first one is for H3. So H3 is compatible with all Delta servo motor. And here is for the third party. So this one can also use to drive other brand, linear motor or direct drive motor. And we also support the third party protocol encoder and also for the pulse chain. Then, so that means H3 can support most of the encoder on the market. But you may wonder then, can we use a Delta H3 to replace a Japanese brand? The answer is depends on the motor, because most of Japanese brand servo motor, they would use their own protocol. But if for the very old type, yes, we can, if their communication is based on the pulse, then we can use a H3 to replace. Then for B3 series, you can see main differences here. For B3, it can compatible with existing motor, but for the third party, it's not available. Okay. Then we come to A2 series. A2 series is just compatible with the C1, C2, CA. Okay, the reason why Delta select Nikon encoder and have a Nikon encoder and Delta encoder is, the reason is very simple, because Delta also have a branch in Japan. And Japanese company, normally they would request most of protocol based on Japan standard. So that's why we add the Nikon encoder, because we want to penetrate Japanese market. Okay, the main difference between A2 and A3, so you can find here. For A2, we can support only, I mean the second let's say second generation servo motor of Delta, but this cannot fulfill, sorry, not compatible with the third generation Delta servo motor and cannot support third party. Okay, then we come to the yes.
I think later you may emphasize.
Huh?
Later you may emphasize the performance difference between A2 and A3, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
You will emphasize, right?
Okay, yes. And for the A2 Nikon encoder type servo drive, so you can see this one will compatible with existing Delta second generation Delta servo motor, and also for the Nikon encoder. But this one is not compatible with a third party. But if we come to the A2R, which I already mentioned, this is actually the first drive that can support third-party motor in Delta servo drive. So you can see this one can support C1, C2, second generation Delta servo motor, but this can also drive the third-party linear motor, the red drive motor, and also can connect to the pulse type motor. And then we come to V2, V2 drive, which can compatible with only C1 and C2. So it even cannot link to the absolute encoder, okay, motor. And same for the 3-in-1 ASDA M series. And final is for the MS controller, so it can compatible with part of Nikon encoder. And let's go more deeper for the third-party protocol. So you may wonder what is a third-party protocol. Basically, just like the three main protocol on the market is in-depth 2.2 BC. And besides, Delta also support Mitsutoyo, Parker, and Tamagawa. And you may wonder why we create at this, because as I mentioned, we want to penetrate the Japanese market. So that's why we create this. And you may wonder then why we don't have a hyperfast, because BC in-depth 2.2 and hyperfast is the three leading protocol on the market. That because for Delta internal evaluation, so we make the decision to follow BC and in-depth 2.2. And if you want to use this one, and just remind you, for the third-party protocol, we connect the signal to our CM2. Okay, and here will be give you more detail about the pulse strength control. So here I list down just very few, just like ECMA C3 series, or like our Philippine partner already asked if they want to connect the all series servo motor is workable, sure. And maybe some people not sure what is ECMA C3. It's actually the encoder type is based on pulse chain. Then we also connect this to the LS microprocessor APM or pulse type encoder like King Servo and Kinko and etc. So basically, here just give you a very simple rule. So if you can, you find the resolution of that motor is very low, just like a 1024 2000 2448 2500 3000 5000. I mean, if you find the encoder resolution is within maybe 13 bit, then it's a very high chance you can use Delta ASDA servo motor to drive all this motor, because that will use a pulse type feedback. So you can see that this kind of servo motor will link the encoder signal to the CM5 instead of CM2. Okay. And you can see more detail for the CM5 pin definition. So you will find the ABZ phase. You will find the ABZ phase and the Hall sensor. So Hall sensor is for like a direct drive and linear motor control, and also temperature detection. Okay. So I'm not sure any problem or any issue regarding how to connect to the third-party pulse type encoder. Hello. Any issue? If no, then we we'll go to next. Okay, and here we show okay. So for the first pulse type, the signal will connect to the CM5 inside here on the bottom part. Okay. And back to what we already mentioned for index 2.2 and BC. This one also connect to, via a CM2, means delta encoder. H3 drive cannot connect to most of Mitsubishi servo motor, because as I mentioned, most Japanese brand servo motor, they use a private protocol. They did not use open protocol. Okay, and here you can find for the index 2.2 and the BC. So, okay, index 2.2, like a Siemens Spec of Komogan, they use index 2.2, and this protocol is from Ibrahim. Okay. Then BC is SS.
Dia mau ikut suaminya nggak dibolehkan sama tuanya. Gara-gara ini dia punya anak laki-laki.
Okay, then BC is sometimes people might call it SSI. So like Elmo, BNR, Schneider, Yaskawa, and some Japanese brand, they claim they also support BC, but this one you really need to check the spec from this Japanese brand or servo motor. If they really support, then can try with Delta servo drive for sure. And you might check the difference of protocol, sorry, interface. So like BC, they use RS422. And you will see no matter they use index 2.2 or BC, this one will use have the clock and the data. And this one based on RS422, and this one based for RS485. So you can find also clock and data. Then the final one is for those customers, they might use cycles, I mean not the square wave signal encoder, so they can use this converter to convert the signal from cycles to the square wave. Then we also connect this one back to CN2 of Delta H3. And you may wonder why I explain so much about H3, because I think most people know that B3 will be our main target product, but here I just want to remind you H3 is also quite powerful if you try to penetrate. Hey, hello, Kun Tirachai. Kun Tirachai, any issue? Okay. Okay, then we come to the naming rule of A2 and A3 servo drive. So for all Delta servo drive, it will start with ASD, means AC servo drive. Then the series will be A2, A3, B2, B3. Then it will follow by power rating. Then this one is what we already mentioned. If within 1.5 kilowatt, then the model name would be 2021. That means if we want to purchase A2 1.5 kilowatt servo motor, servo drive. So the model name will be ASDA2 1521. You definitely 100% you cannot find 1523 because this model is not exist in our system. So for the single phase type, you can also connect to the three phase power. There's definitely no problem. So for example, if now customer they want to use a 3 kilowatt, because this one already bigger than 1.5 kilowatt, so the model name will become ASDA2 3023. Okay. And below just show the function difference. So you can find for CM5, CM3 for the standard type, L type, U type, and DMCnet and CAN-open type, it will support RS485. Then for the ECAM, because some customers they might prefer A2 ECAM function, you must use U type and M type. Then for PR function is available in all series. And only one thing I want to remind you is for field bus communication type like CAN-open and DMCnet. If you want to use a 400 volt 11 kilowatt and 15 kilowatt, then please remember change the model name to A2R. That means if you want to order 15 kilowatt servo drive from Delta, you should order the model name ASD A2R 1F 4043-M or -F. Okay, in the main difference of CM5 and CM2. Sorry, let me go back to the slide. So you can see for CM2, CM2 is basically based on the differential communication like RS485, RS422. For the CM5, it's just a pure plus train ABZ phase. And if we link with a linear motor, direct drive motor, then they will have other Hall sensor feedback. Then we come to B3. B3, as we mentioned earlier, we have a three type. The standard B3, advanced B3, and basic. So you can see, except basic type, most of B3 series will support PR function. And all series will support analog voltage control. Then here just separate by the field bus. And if customer they request STO, then they can select B3A. And this is naming rule is exactly same as A2. So you can see we just changed the series from A2, A3 to B3. Multi-ASIC synchronization, the best would definitely be Ethercat, but Ethercat is not always the best solution because Ethercat, let's say the cost is definitely higher than CAN-open and DMCnet. So if you just use maybe 2 or 3 ASICs, then maybe you can consider CAN-open. Okay, in this page, I show you the frame size of H3 and B3 motor and inertia inertia available for the H3 and B3 servo motor. So you can see now for the maximum is 3 kilowatt. But as we mentioned, because it backward compatible with all the existing servo motor of Delta, so definitely you can use A2. I mean a second generation servo motor normally we will call it A2 motor. And this one is what we already mentioned. We have the absolute encoder, incremental encoder, and the magnetic encoder. Okay, and this one is for the A2 and B2, second generation servo motor naming. And I think some of you might encounter the situation is maybe the motor name would be ECMA C1 0602. Then maybe it will show like AS, BS. Okay, but on the catalog, you cannot find any information of that. So now I just let you know. Here we will see its code is a C or D. So that means here is A and here is B. Then for the keyword type, you can find only E and F. So that means our keyword with break and with oil seal, here is G and this one is H. So because for some model we already based on all, we don't accept motor order anymore. So we might remove this one, but because of customer, they might purchase this kind of motor in the past. So I here just let you know, in the future you encounter this situation, so you may just use this table and you will know how to what that means. And this page just show you the H3 turbo motor naming rule. Okay, so I think most of you already understood, so I just quickly make a summary like this. So we have H3, no matter high inertia and low inertia, we have a delta encoder and a Nikon encoder, and definitely we separate into the ABS and incremental. Okay, so sorry, this one is I do the wrong typing. For Nikon encoder should be Y and 1, and delta should be A and 2. And this portion is for the B3 servo motor. And just for your information, now magnetic encoder motor for B3 series now is already available since this month. Because some of our partners, they might intend to order end of maybe in February or March, but because at that time, you know, due to the coronavirus and pandemic and some raw material shortage, so at that time we still cannot enter the mass production stage. But now for the magnetic encoder is available. Then here will show some features of H3 and B3 servo motor. So you can see compare the third and the second generation. We increased the speed from 5,000 RPM to 6,000 RPM, and for the overload or the maximum torque, it increased from 300 to 350, 350%. And for the cooking torque, you can see we also because we improve the process of servo motor manufacturing, so it can reduce the cooking torque around less than 1.5%. And normally, only for the CNC application, they will consider about the coding force. Use ECAM and can open for B3, which use B3. Hello, DSC partner. I'm not sure, very sure about your question. Maybe we can discuss later. Then for the H3B3 series, as I mentioned, we have more complete inertia. We have start from low inertia, medium inertia to the high inertia. And this page just shows the PR function inside. I think this one, some of our Delta partners already know about this because this is the PR setting. And the main difference is this part, because in the past we can see the sequence only like a left portion, but we can see we cannot find the sequence between each other. So in the H3 and B3 series, now we provide this chart, so it will be more easier for you to find the sequence and to do some troubleshooting. Okay, and for H3 and B3 will support 99 PR, and this provide a visualization interface. Okay, and for H3B3, we provide also a set talk of STO function, and this one maybe you will say, oh, it's also available, but yeah, it's only available in A2 EtherCAD series. But now for H3B3, you can select, especially for B3A. B3A is all available. Okay, and this part is for the sharing DC bus. That means for in the past A2 and the B2 servo drive, we must use the break resistor to consume the power from system that are regenerated from system. But now we can use a sharing DC bus to save the energy. So for example, this one for the first drive, we might connect to the AC power, but because this one, this drive will always have got the regenerated energy from system, so we can use connect the DC bus to the second drive. So this one, the second drive no need extra AC input power.
Online.
Okay, and here I think we big improvement in software portion, because in the past, customer first time use our Delta server drive, they even don't know how to start. So here we'll give quite user-friendly interface, so you can find if I want to change the motor direction, then I can set from where. And also like this one, if I want to use an analog voltage control, I can. In the past, it would be difficult if you don't know the scale between the speed and the voltage. But now you can do some check the setting just quickly from the interface. And even for the gain tuning, servo tuning, in the past, if customer they never use Delta, they don't know which parameter they should modify. But from here, you can find the control sequence and the parameter very clearly, so it will be very convenient for them. Okay, and what a DAC or Philippine distributor partner just act. The main difference between A3 and A2, you can consider the auto tuning. Auto tuning is really improved a lot compared the second generation, because A2 and B2 servo auto tuning is actually now you can consider is a semi-auto tuner, because you still need to do a lot of setting. Okay, so for this portion, I think I will link and share you. Hey, hello, can you see my screen?
No, I cannot see your screen.
Okay, okay. Now can see or cannot? Hello?
Yes, okay.
Okay, okay. Okay, so here I will show the servo tuning function. Basically, I will show two. First one is for the one-touch tuning. Okay, so you can find from here, we have a one-touch tuning. So the first step, you can set the current. Okay, and default is for 50%. Okay, so you will find, because now the motor is without any load, so you can see this one will find the suggestion value is 0.1. So I think that's quite fit the real situation, because now I don't have the load, so it should be close to 0. So this one is the first tuning method. You can use the one-touch tuning. And second, I will show you the auto tuning. Okay, so the first step is same as A2. We need to do servo on. So we now, because this one, the drive I connect is EtherCAT type. So I need then a process was exactly same as A2. So we just set 2 points. Then we press start moving. But here, one thing I want to remind you, if you set the speed lower than the criteria, then you will pump up this thing that requires you must increase the speed. So the system suggestion is bigger than 200 RPM. So maybe we put the 500 RPM download, then start. Okay. So once you start moving, you will find the button here will become visible. So after that, we press this one, and then just wait until the process reaching 100%. That means it's finished auto tuning. But compared with A2, A3 and B3 auto tuning would take longer time. Maybe sometimes it might reach 4 minutes. But I think most of should be within 3 minutes. But if you set the stroke, I mean the point-to-point stroke is very long, so it might take longer time. So you can find compare this one with A2. Just we change it become a step-by-step setting. But because in the past A2 you must know the sequence. Otherwise, even you download and you don't know how to write the parameter. Okay, basically for the optical encoder, it would have a higher resolution. So you can see like the 20 in Delta second generation, we have a 20-bit or 20 now third generation has 24-bit, or like Mitsubishi, they now have a 26-bit. All this high resolution model is based on the optical. And for magnetic, basically is used for the harsh environment. Okay, that means you need to install the motor on the environment that might have a very frequently vibration. So if you put the optical encoder motor on such environment, that will reduce its lifetime, because always vibration, it will damage the slide and light of optical encoder. But this fine for magnetic encoder. And for the magnetic optical encoder, actually is a Delta own technology, but I cannot explain what's the main difference between magnetic optical and optical, pure optical to you now at this moment. For DC bus sharing is basically we would recommend the same power rating would be better.
Hello,
Yes.
I think you may explain the feature of optical encoder. That's okay. Why we need optical encoder?
Mm-hmm.
Why we need to select the optical encoder?
Uh-huh.
Just introduce the feature. For example, lower.
Hello, stand a bit. Can I hear very clearly? Understand.
For example, lower resolution,
Uh-huh.
high resistancy of the environment. Just explain that. Why we need it.
Sorry, I said the stroke too long. This I think it's gonna take another one minute. Okay, basically for the auto tune in H3, the other reason why it need to take so many time that because in the H3 auto tune we already would auto search the FFT frequency. Okay, So that's the reason why it takes so much time. So basically, after the tuning, if system have some resonance frequency, so it will also show up. LOS APM model, I'm not very sure. SE11, this one is for the first type or not. If first type, yes, sure, it can connect with A3. Okay, so now when the auto-tune process are done, then it will show like this, and you will find the inertial ratio is 0 because now it's no roll. And if you still remember the value we just tuned by one touch is quite close, all the value is quite close to the auto-tune. So that's why I recommend if for some simple application that you just connect to the box screw without a gearbox, then maybe you can try all the tiny belts. Then maybe you can consider use a one-touch tuning, which will be more easier for you. Okay. Now let's back to. Hello. Now can you see my screen? It's back to PowerPoint slide. Okay, so this is what we mentioned. We changed from not user-friendly to step-by-step. So it's be more easier for the customer who first time use Delta. And definitely we also provide some advanced gain tuning interface. And this one manual mode is actually 100% same as A2. So this is for those who already very familiar with Delta A2, B2 servo, so they can try with the manual mode. And for mode, another 3 mode. Here you can see we can fine tune the bandwidth, and we fine tune the inertia and bandwidth. So we provide 3 mode for you. So you can see different mode, the parameter here will be different. Okay, so for example, this one is for the mode 3. So we can modify 3 parameter at the same time. But if you select only mode 1, that means only this will be available. Then another improvement compared with A2 and B2 is for the real-time scope. So in the past, for A2, we just provide 4 channel, 16-bit, but now A2 and A3 can provide 4 channels, 32-bit, or 8 channel, 16-bit. And this one is for the system analysis, which one, this board plot can help you to find the resonance frequency or NT of resonance frequency. So you just move your mouse and find the, below is the frequency, and so you can find in which frequency might have a vibration, so you can feel to the parameter in the software. Okay, then here is for the product outline. And here I just want to show you if you use A3L, but you want to use like a mobile communication, then you need to purchase another accessory to extend, because this one just viewing one RJ45 port. So the better solution, I think I would recommend you just A3 can open type, because this one will can open type will support 245 port. And for the software in H3, we use ASDA software version 6. And you may wonder then how about the programming? Because at the beginning we mentioned PLC or building PLC, so that we need to install another software called ASD. Okay, and you may find this is the interface for ASD. So just for example, if you want to do Servo 1, then we just keep the MV 0.0. I mean, you just give the output to MV 0.0, then this servo, this motor will do Servo 1. Okay. And you can see here we can write the task program background PLC sequence. Okay, then this one is for A2, and you can see A2 we use a different version. It's ASDA soft version 5, and this is for the B2, also use a version 5, and then B3, and this is the profile for the B3 can open and BNC net type. And this one is for the EtherCAT. Okay, then I will quickly go through the FAQ. So now Delta provides some kind of EtherCAT master. So like a PLC, we have H and TPP 15MC and ACE EtherCAT controller. This one Charles ever mentioned on the this Monday. And for the GMC, we have EXMC like this one. This one also PLC based, and we have a PC based like a function card and PAC controller and like the MH2 ASA. Then for the DMC net controller, we have this. Okay. And this one is how to build the communication between Delta Servo drive to third-party controller. So we have a CANopen and EtherCAT, and CANopen it will support 35 homing mode, and because our EtherCAT is based on CANopen, so but we need extra XML file, so you can download from Delta website. For the A2E is version 4. And A3E and B3 is version 0.3. Okay, and this one is how to change the maximum speed limit of servo drive. So on the parameter is P1-55, and how to use for closed loop. So you can change the electronic gear ratio, which we mentioned several times in previous page, and P1-72 and 74. Okay. And this one is how to trigger the PR function. So basically, we can use a communication type like use Modbus and CANopen, like to value to this P507, and we can use DI like an event trigger, or we can give command, use the digital input combination, then with the command trigger digital input. Okay, and here just show you which servo drive can support PR. So you can find like A2, A2R, and spindle drive A3, B3. But for A3, B3, as we mentioned, we use a different software. And this one is the control mode. So for most of our drive can support so we can switch the mode like this. So this is what we mentioned several times for the PR function. And if for per string control, we should set in PT. And like a speed or torque control, we can set S and F. Then here I just want to show you for the CANopen mode. You can find here should be the 0B and 0D. And for A2 series, basically we have two modes. the 0B, that means for Delta, and 0C is for the standard can open. Okay, but for H3 can open type, we change it from internal to the standard can open. Okay, and this page just show you, before we go to the accessory, I just show you the encoder difference and the USB cable difference. Okay, for here, you can find A2, B2, and M series. Use a different encoder type. Okay. And this portion is for the USB cable, means you link to the ASDA socket. So we also change to the different USB cable. So just remind you, for the interface, we have some modification. But you may wonder, so if you have a mini stock of A2 or B2 encoder cable, then can you switch to, sorry, can you keep using this stock? Then just maybe buy some converter to convert the interface and to fit H3 or B3? The answer is yes. So for example, this one is for A2. So you can use the existing A2 encoder cable and just purchase this converter. So you can link to A2 model to H3 or B3. Then one more thing I want to remind is for the USB adapter for H3 and B3. This one, because for our H3 and B3, you can use, I mean, you just connect the USB cable from your laptop to servo drive. So you can do the firmware upgrade or parameter backup without provide AC power. Because of this reason, so the noise from servo drive be easily go back to your laptop. So in most situations, I would suggest you recommend your customer purchase this adapter to avoid the noise or go back to interfere your laptop. Okay, and this page will show you the H3B3 accessory, but this one is without the IP67 and magnetic encoder. Okay, so you can find here for A2 power cable is actually can be used in A2, A2R, and H3. If the customer they don't mind the power cable don't have the white terminal, then you can also use in the B2 and B3 series. Then for encoder cable, this one cannot use, but if, as I just mentioned, if customer they can buy the converter, I mean convert from SCSI to the IOY, then it should be easier. It's also compatible with A3 or B3 series. Okay, then I just give the simple rule. So if customer they don't have, I mean, if for the power cable, if customer they have a lot of A2 stock, A2 power cable stock, then they can use this power cable to H3 series. Vice versa, if they use, they have a lot of B2 power cable, they can also use B2 power cable in B3 series. But for encoder cable, you just need to purchase the converter. Okay. So like this one. And here we'll just show some, show the encoder cable is actually compatible. Okay. Encoder cable is compatible in both H3 and B3 series. And we also have a flexible encoder or power cable. Okay, and this page will show you the main competitor, but here I just focus on Japanese brand. So for example, like a B2 series, the main competitor on the market would be the Mitsubishi JE series and the Panasonic Liquid. But Liquid series is not available in all markets, so I did not list it this model down. Okay, then another tool is I think most of you are familiar is for the A2 series. So A2 series would equivalent to Yaskawa Sigma 7, Mitsubishi J4, Panasonic A5, Fuji Alpha 5, and Omron G5. Okay, so then the final price just like a H3B3 would be equivalent to the Yaskawa Sigma 7, Mitsubishi J5, and Panasonic A6, Fuji Alpha 7, and Omron 1S. Okay, then what is Delta's roadmap? So now Delta also have a DC servo drive, and for the AC servo motor, now we also develop the one cable solution, but for one cable solution now still under development. So maybe it will be available next year. But for DC servo drive now is already available, but maybe we'll go to market soon. And finally, just show you some successful story. So this one can be used in precision press control. So like maybe you know Delta now also provide the Servo Express machine. So this one also based on the same technology. And this one is for the packaging machine, which already used a lot in A2 or P2 series. Then for the laser processing, this one is implemented in India market. Okay, so that's all. So here I would like to do a polling of so please just select and answer the question. Okay. Okay, magnetic encoder is not same as resolver. The technology is slightly different.人容在线上调查，不错。We have some document about the easy ASD, but the problem is some function may be not mentioned inside because easy ASD we update it very frequently. Because some function would R&D will customize for the customer. So if you remember, we let me go back to this. Okay. So here you can see IND will create some system object or some library for customer easier to implement their function. So you can consider the library or the object here just like a function block we use in the PLC. So it's the same concept. So I mean, normally IND will do some function customize, so customer they can use this one more easily to implement some function they want. Yeah, I can ensure Delta DC servo model, sure. Any improvement for using HP instead of A2? And what do you mean, Yudi, about improvement? Is the overall performance will definitely better than A2. Okay, even for the A3, we design it very complex, but because we still use the heatsink like A2, so it's no issue for the harsh environment and hard environment. And also, any other question? If no, I think thank you all for attending the product introduction today.
Apple, Q&A
Yes.
still 17 questions. Have you already answered all?
I think most I answer by verbal. I did not write down the answer.
Or if you already answer, you can click the button answer live, then we'll dismiss.
Okay. Yes, for next month PM, as I mentioned, for H3 B3 servo motor, it can reach to 6,000 RPM. So just same parameter to change the maximum speed. Going to try this one, I will share to Novaton. Better you mount to the mechanical. That will, because for the real machine, your motor must mount to the mechanical, right? So if you want to get a better performance, you just follow the real situation. You will use this motor. So I will advise you just do the tuning when it really connect to the mechanical part. Hello, Daniel. I'm not sure what do you mean. Can we connect to now first type encoder feedback? As I mentioned, this one we can use a first type encoder feedback or third-party protocol or like sine cos. This is what we can support right now. Hello. So, anything else? Yes. About any question? Bao, can you speak? Hello. So if no any further questions, thank you all for attend the product introduction today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.